Welcome to Thoiry. At the summer solstice on June 21st and on the 20 longest days of the year, the sun rises in the castle's grand vestibule. Thoiry is a rare esoteric monument built in 1559 by the great Renaissance architect Philibert Delorme, who designed Thoiry to be a transparent bridge of light. The castle and its vast perspectives form a solar calendar on the landscape. Conceived using the golden ratio or the divine proportion, Thoiry is orientated to capture the telluric forces and is the Western philosophical counterpoint to Feng Shui, a home built to ensure happiness and prosperity for its inhabitants. During the winter solstices in December, the sun sets in the castle's central arch. Solstice celebrations are held with talks by the Count de Lapenus on Thoiry's esoteric architecture in summer and winter. Paul and Annabelle, Count and Countess de Lapenus, live in the castle with their children Edmund and Columba, the 16th generation of the family in Thoiry. In castles lived in for centuries by the same family, the furniture and art objects are not just museum pieces, but are still used for their original purpose and continue to embellish everyday life. For generations, the family and their guests have dined seated on these chairs. They amuse themselves by playing the games inlaid in the marquetry of this table. A Louis XV armchair with its harmonious curves invites you to sit in a different manner than a Louis XVI armchair with its straight columns. Each armchair, when you sit on it, gives you an attitude conforming to its style. Their dogs lived sumptuously too. This silk canopy bed was made for the beloved lapdog of an ancestor who was cabinet minister to King Louis XV. Even the toilets camouflaged here in an armchair were works of art. Like all our ancestors, smiling down on us from their portraits, Charles and Angelique slept, loved, and died in this bed where their children were born. They wrote each other over 1,500 love letters in which they called each other my little pussycat and their children their 5 kittens. Costume guides welcome visitors to the castle. They present Raoul Moreau, the alchemist ancestor who had the castle built in 1559, and Thoiry's collection of rare furniture, like this unusually slim dresser signed by Crescent, one of the great French cabinet makers. This Tapestry of Don Quixote is an 18th century masterpiece from the Gebelin ateliers with over 2,000 shades of blue and red. It was a gift from Louis XVI to an ancestor and former finance minister. In 1740, the hand-painted wallpapers and silks of these rooms were imported from China. This magnificent rare harpsichord is unique in having kept its original mechanism since 1733. It was built by Blanchet the Elder and decorated by Hewitt for Angelique de Maresco, the Lady of Thoiry, whose portraits as Venus, goddess of love, and as a nun are seen here painted by Latour. Frédéric Chopin played on this piano at the age of 23 when he gave lessons to a young lady of the family to whom he offered the manuscript of a waltz. In Thoiry's archives, 450,000 documents testify to the historic role of the Lapenus family. This seal of King Philip IV from 1285 is the only one of its kind in the world. 600 letters between European royal families reveal the most intimate details of their lives. This letter was written by Louis, future King of Spain, at the age of 7 to his great-grandfather Louis XIV, King of France, and this is one of the letters in which the Queen of Spain explains to her daughter, the Crown Princess of France, how to consummate her marriage. This letter in code sent to Louis XIV shows this juxtaposed translation by his foreign minister. For VIP events, the Countess de la Penuse organizes candlelight dinners and concerts in the Grand Manor. For unforgettable professional or family occasions, Thoiry offers private and themed tours and events and is an exclusive venue for incentives, marriages, product presentations, contract signatures, photos, and films. Thoiry's 300-acre listed historic gardens have been awarded the label Remarkable Garden by the French Ministry of Culture. Their evolution since 1559 demonstrates the assimilation over the centuries of each epoch's vision of idolized nature. Claude Degault, Lenoitre's nephew and partner, landscaped Thoiry's 17th century formal parterres. By his use of an inverse perspective, creating an optical illusion, the spectator has the impression as he walks down the center that the end of the garden and the horizon are retreating from him as he advances. The late 18th century woodland landscape gardens were designed to appear more natural than nature. Every year, new plantations of exotic trees and shrubs enhance the biodiversity of the botanical collections, which in turn favor the biodiversity of native fauna and offer the pleasures of year-round flowerings in autumn leaf colors. The Thoiry Labyrinth is one of the largest theme mazes in Europe, with 5,600 yew trees and 2,300 meters of paths linked by 9 bridges, in a symbolic design inspired by the golden ratio and the animals. Turtle Island, the children's playground, is next to the animal petting farm. This tapestry in the castle shows King Henry IV hunting imported lions in 1600. One lion is leapt on the king's horse and bitten him on the arm. A hunter is shown throwing a weighted blanket over the lion's head, and while the lion is blinded, another hunter tries to kill him with his sword. Today in Thoiry, park visitors cross the lion's territory in their cars in the reserve, and on foot through a glass tunnel under the lion's claws in the zoological gardens. With the creation in 1968 of Thoiry's Wildlife Reserve for Endangered Species, a sanctuary for over 1,500 exotic animals in liberty, the ecological dream of a 21st century Eden became a reality. For the first time in the world outside of Africa, visitors could observe 20 species of herbivorous animals living together in the same territory, interacting exactly as they would in the wild. Further on in the woods, bears cohabit peacefully with bison and deer. They climb the trees, dig their dens, and fish in the ponds. Thoiry is the only French park to present Komodo dragons and the first in continental Europe to have had baby dragons born in captivity. Monkeys, leopards, red pandas, kangaroos, wolves, antelopes, birds, and a multitude of wildlife species from around the world can be seen here. Thoiry has also had the first births in France of Chinese panthers and Arabian oryx. Thoiry, a pleasant excursion on the Parisian countryside, is the perfect year-round getaway site for meetings, incentives, and special events for groups and individuals.